Nange Rigbai Kayen Toin Chiru Nang Lai Majin Bar Chinai Me Bar Zang Tel Le Re Doi Drulai Mai Hu Ying ba yu nai sim gi chai de de ju den ke mai se ying me rik bin ko lo yung ko le se bu den ro lai ju Gangashar in le ma yu be iri del me wang bo de ji me nam ke long ne do ke jai ngai dai ni me shu
Tipa chimbu kukungo, tipa membe kukungo namba ni yorela. Tipa chimbu kukungo to sena senjin tongje la pembe kuchato la yen sombe. Kukungo jachimbo tanga. Tene tipa membe kukungo daba jen na rani jibu dewa dante nyerwe kuchato la. Tombe chu nyonso lemba tong, tombe chu la tuson sepa yen somba ndabo ta tende kukungo ni yepe nome. Kalchewa da kandere sena. Tipa chimbu kukungo sonjin juto senjin ne majun roa nonkin tato nyambe senjin tangji jetanta. Tombe chu la tuson sepa tong, tombe chu nyomne sepa yen kunga jike. Kunga number topa ji sal tap tup na. Te tartu kundebu topa la pe chebar jen jirwa yen bechetna. Kunga sonjin juto senjin ne sen naro chi.
Now you've all gone through a lot of effort to come here for the sake of the Dharma. And you're all practicing meditation, but it's important for us to remind ourselves to have a pure motivation. Because we're ordinary individuals, sometimes our motivations become impure, or sometimes they are neutral, neither virtuous nor unvirtuous. Sometimes we have motivations that fit with the Dharma, but with the Dharma there are two motivations. There's the motivation of the Mahayana and the motivation of the foundation vehicle. Mahayana, our greater vehicle of motivation, is the vast motivation to bring benefit to all sentient beings. Whereas the motivation of the foundation vehicle is to seek happiness for oneself alone and to practice and to engage in study and contemplation for that sake. And so at this point, which is more important? It is important for us to have the motivation of the greater vehicle, the motivation of bodhicitta, thinking to ourselves that it is for the sake of all of our mothers, all sentient beings, for as limitless as space, that we engage in listening and contemplation and in practice. So please remind yourself to have such a pure motivation, and if you do, this will in the future bring you to the superior ultimate result. So please listen to these teachings today with this pure motivation of bodhicitta.
tene temba sumba te lamje temba rela, tene te kunjung te pon ne, pon war sepe ke tap te lam la hyo ne, tene te ke lam te nyam so len, lam te nyam so len ba la tene, tene kunjung le da nyam mo ba ten so ta, te no ne mixar te nyam mo ba ten so tombo bo na, ne nu pa chung dum ro wa te ta. Tene ta te ji so la rimbe ke sa ba tong ne jim ba te, tsawa ne pang te, ta tar tu ken te bu to pa che, gu ge yo re la, te yung ge yo re, teacher na, ta tanda, tering ke ka so la hyo te, lam je den ba re la, lam je den ba te, hyo ge yen.
Now, in the past few days, among the Four Noble Truths, we have discussed the truth of suffering. Suffering must be known, and the truth of origin. The origin must be abandoned. So we've discussed these two. Now, we need to abandon the truth of the origin, karma, and the afflictions. And what is the method for that? The method for that is the path that the Buddha taught. So this is the third truth, the truth of the path. So the method to abandon the origin is to enter the path. Once we've entered the path, then we practice the path. And because of practicing the path, then we are able to first attenuate the origin of karma and afflictions, and especially the afflictions. First we attenuate them, and then we entirely eradicate them. And because of that, by doing that, we need to achieve the ultimate result, and we are able to achieve the ultimate result. And so today I would like to speak about the truth of the path.
Teacherna lam tela chitanga kase yore na lam tela number ni yore susu ji lam ta tene papa lam te number ni yore la te na ne yang ta ba lam te kandere se na papa lam re te ina yang na ran susu ji o tombo imbe chen na tombo susu ji lam la yo tene lam te rem ji de ne tene tardu kende bo to ba che to lam papa lam te la
Now, when we call it the truth of the path, right now we are in the places of samsara. We reside amongst the suffering and the origin. And so we need to gradually enter the path that will bring us from there to the state of liberation and omniscience. We need to progress down or go down this path. And so this is why it is called the path. And so, because of the path, we will be able to achieve the state of liberation and omniscience. Now, how many different paths are there? Well, basically, there are two different paths. These are the paths of the ordinary individuals and the paths of the nobles. Now, the true path, of course, is the path of the nobles, but because we at first are sentient beings, first we need to learn about the path of the ordinary individuals. We need to progress through the path of the ordinary individuals, and then gradually we will enter the paths of the nobles. And so that is why it is the path of the ordinary individuals is taught first. Papa Londe, la sostituzione sale rendo Papa invece Papa Londe la Papa Londe ne tartu kan devo to ka sala manu lam se
Talana Zemaguba, Tartukan Deva Toba in Bichina, Malabalon de Jitanga Longa, Huguarela, Longa, Hudu, Della, Tombo, Sujalonga, Tanjune, Big Longa, Zenangugiore.
Now, the paths can also be talked about as the 5 paths. And with the 5 paths, the first path, the path of accumulation, and the second path, the path of joining, are the paths of the ordinary individuals. And so once when we first enter the path, begin to practice, then we first progress through the path of accumulation, and then we come to the path of joining. Then as we come through the path of joining, we gradually increase our level, and we are able to see the truth of the Dharma nature as it is. And so at that point that we see the truth of the Dharma nature, we are able to abandon all of the discards of seeing, the afflictions that are discards of seeing. So this is the path of seeing. Then as we meditate over and over again on what we have seen, this is called the path of meditation. These 2 paths are far superior to the paths of the ordinary individuals, so they're called the paths of the nobles, or the elevated beings of the nobles. And so as we progress through those paths, then eventually we will come to the path of no more learning. This is a state where we no longer need to make efforts at the path, where we are in the ultimate result of liberation and omniscience. And so in this way, there are these 5 paths. So first we need to enter the path of accumulation and start there at striving in the path.
Khenpo, number some, the Jorulon, the Jorulon, the thing and then Gombala, then the Tretopatera, Jolom Tre, take Converton at the Zemo, take Converton at the Zeba, take Converton at the Chitin Chunchu, Tanjitin Sajik, the thing and the Shepherdon Papa Jay, Topate, Jolom Tamate, Zemo, Jolom Chunchu, Chitin Chunchu, Yogarella. Nitinizam de Rambayan de Papa Satoba in Betena, Tasosiu, Lomni, or Rella, Tatela, Hupigaturte, Tatan the Loven Inning, Nabazagan on the Sona, Tombo, Hudu de la Tsune, 2 something, Gombala, Narapta Jor, Tombo, Yetaba de, Tatipa Magewa Pan, gave us our Lanjo, Tatide Guba in Betena. Dipa Magewa, Pomba Getcherto, gave us our Lanjubu Getcherto, Yetsurum number Tabala, Nene, Sutum de, Songu Yorella. Sutum de Sumor Sebala, number Ni Yorella, Tangaranta, Chimna Nepa in Nayon Ron, Nerata Suma in Nayon Ron, Tatsusug, Dambaton Sutum de Yapo, de Song, de None, that Chimna Nepa in Nayon, Tombe Junior Olympic, Coca Yorevina. Tombe Junior Olympic Coca Yore. Tati get Trimsum Coca Yore, not Trimsum Coca Yore. Coca Yepate, Chimbaku Carvojin, Tadam Capo Matripa, Sone, Tati, Ronging, Chimbica Tate, Chona Yan, Tinite Rang, Trim number Topa Suma de Canderesena, Gaining Tamba, Gaining Mas. Tate Kiba in Nagini Tambalemba, don't think me and Nagini Maya Tambalembala. Tatomba Lembade, the Nichitanga Susu, Calvaton, Tambaguba in Beterna, the Nikahig Tamba de Tazo Nabotella, Zawa Yadon Chunga, Sitate Pangi Orella, the Ne Sujepa, Mazimba Lemba, Mazomba Jepa. Depi Lopore and Baton, Dundanawa de number year, they then the New Jersey Champon, the number nga, the Pangu Yorella. The Nitin number Nabo de Susitio, Chimney, Batonji, Panto Yorella, Kaki Panto Yorella, Kaki Pon, Tokanda, Meba, and Yungu Yore, Then on a bomb, go up, mother, but then to get the dumb by the song to budget on certain day, lane to budget, younger your younger you are, so you jumped in the Tala Capic, the one the Nanga you are la, the Nitella, the Nigini, Dumba Lambeca, Pacher, Kashi, Dambanga, song to Patella, Yonzu Jaba, Sunga you are. Nitinani ya some song to baton some song to batella parchertia ba tene some ni some song to batella nanga jaba tene te yon som madonna na je jaba kare na ya je pang to bate rang sana te hi ton poe ton gedi la londres se be mu batan je be damba de lana damba de cheper ton papa lan roge ya ba yende te na ji jaba se sunge yo la Teta Damba Langue de Be Khenpo in the Chena, Chimna Nepake, Tati Damba de Teta, Kande, Kanya, Ruanje, Long, Tela, Tentum to me, Benon, Tentum Secuore, Tentum Sedu, so about the Damba de Langue or de Yana. Can you do them say to young, gave Baja the Apo, like Gopaka. Nini and Lati Petambaton, Dambale, Tidamba de Niga Truchela song, Tendese Patella, Nituchem Segi or Latati, Sojung Center, what they in the Chena, Gewa de Yam Peruada, Megawa de Mangon and the Kitchen of Latini, take a Dambate, Linkaka, Niga Truchika Dambalembe, Cocayo, Yorela, Tedava Latine, Tene, Sulne, Sutamlane, Tombo, Sutamian Papa song. Tinitawa Rinpoche number some Jason Row, Tatinde, Rabotic Gone, Tombi Chuchugola,
So we have to progress first through as we progress through the paths and stages, we begin by entering the path of accumulation. And the path of accumulation has three different stages. There is the lesser, the middling, and the greater, lesser, intermediate, and greater path of accumulation. And after we've gone through those paths, we come to the path of joining. And in the path of joining, this is where we begin real samadhi meditation. And because of the samadhi meditation, we develop warmth. And so for that reason, the first stage of the path of joining is called warmth. Then as that increases, we reach what is called the peak. And so the second stage is called the peak. The third stage is called forbearance. And then the fourth stage is called the supreme worldly dharma. The reason this fourth stage is called the supreme worldly dharma is because it is the greatest of all defiled worldly phenomena, and so it is the supreme worldly dharma. It is because of this that we are able to achieve these states of the nobles. So in this way we have these two paths. Now the way in which we enter the paths, and beginning by entering the path of accumulation, is taught by Vasubandhu in the Treasury of Abhidharma. And what he says is that at first, with discipline, listening, and contemplation, completely trained in meditation. And so the basis is that we need to give up misdeeds and non-virtues. We need to engage in virtues. And so giving up the misdeeds and non-virtues and practicing virtues forms the basis of pure discipline. Now with discipline, there are two different types of discipline. There's monastic discipline and there's lay discipline. And so these each are different ways of keeping vows. Now, do householders have the opportunity to practice the Dharma? They do, of course. Do they have the opportunity to practice discipline? They do. They do have the opportunity to practice discipline. Even those householders who do not shave their hair and their beards, who wear white clothes, have the opportunity to practice the lay precepts. And so what is the pure discipline for the householders? It is practicing the 5 lay precepts. Now these are the vows of the upasaka, and they can be either for the male or the female. There's just a difference between the support, whether you're taking the male upasaka vows or the female upasaka vows. In any case, whichever your fortune is, you can take these vows. Now, primarily, when we take these vows, there are 4 root vows plus 1 that we need to give up. The 4 root vows that we need to give up are killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, and lying. And then in addition to that, we give up alcohol and intoxicants. And these are the five precepts. Now, are all lay people able to give up all five of these precepts? Well, they're not. Not everyone has the ability or the opportunity to give up all five of them. But does this mean that if you can't give up all five, that you don't have the opportunity to take vows and to practice discipline? It doesn't mean that, because the Buddha, with his skill and means, taught various methods of taking them. When we take the lay precepts, if we take all five of the lay precepts, then this is what we call complete conduct. And if we're not able to keep all five, but we take 4 of the 5, or just 3 of them, then this is what we would call majority conduct. Now, if you're only able to keep 2 of them, and you take 2 of these vows, that is what we would call dual conduct. And if you can only take a single one of them, then this is what we would call single conduct. And so you can take any of these different varieties of vows. In any case, whichever one you take, you apply your mindfulness, awareness, and carefulness in your mind, and you have the intention to practice virtue and give up misdeeds, and this way it becomes a superior vow, even if you're only practicing the single conduct. And so it is important to take these vows. These are the vows of the lay precepts. Now, whenever you take them, actually there are 2 different types of vows you can take. There are permanent vows and there are temporary vows. So the permanent vows are vows that you take for the duration of this life, such as these 5 lay precepts. The temporary vows are vows that you take for the period of 1 day, the period of 1 day and 1 night, for a period of 24 hours. These are the fasting vows. In any case, so if you take the temporary, the fasting vows, then this is a way to practice virtue, to give up on virtue, and it is extremely fortunate to be able to do this, to take the vows for the period of 1 day and 1 night. And so in this way you would be able to abide within discipline. And so in this way, this is the first thing we need, which is discipline. And this is like the foundation by which we enter the gate of the Dharma. Now for monastics, there are the vows of the novice monks and the novice nuns. There are also the vows of the bhikkhus and bhikkhunis. And if you're a novice, then you need to properly keep the discipline of the novice. If you are a bhikshu or bhikkhuni, you need to properly keep the virtue of the discipline of the bhikshu or bhikkhuni. And so you have to have a good basis, a good foundation of pure discipline. Now, in the past, there were times when some great Tibetan masters gave the bhikkhuni vows, but nowadays, but most masters have not given the vows. However, gradually there will be the opportunity, eventually there will be the opportunity for people to take the bhikkhuni vows. So whether you have the vows of a bhikshu or a bhikkhuni, or of a novice monk or of a novice nun, it is important to keep the precepts of your vows properly. And so this is abiding within discipline. And so what is this? This is the basis. It is giving up misdeeds, practicing virtue. That is dwelling within discipline. And so while we are giving up misdeeds and practicing virtue, so this means that we need to practice virtue while we give up misdeeds and unvirtues. Now, in addition to that, we also have to do the training in superior prajna and the training in superior samadhi. And so the first is prajna, or intelligence. We need to increase our prajna. And in order to do that, first we engage in listening. This means we need to get dharma teachings from a guru, a spiritual friend. And there are many different types of spiritual friends who are taught about in the treatises. There is the word lama of the Sugatas. There is the individual lama of the lineage, and so forth. Many different types of lamas. In any case, we first need to listen to dharma teachings and study them, and then we need to understand them properly. And so, for this reason, we need to be diligent about listening. Now, after we have listened to the fifth instructions, we need to examine them, we need to consider them, contemplate them, and we need to develop certainty in them. And so in order to achieve that certainty, after we have listened to them, we need to engage in various methods for examining, logically thinking about it, considering these until we develop that certainty. And so in this way, as we go through the path of accumulation, and we need to gradually will then begin to meditate. And then as we meditate, eventually we'll come to the stages of the path of joining, the stages of warmth, peak, the forbearance, and the supreme worldly dharma. So these are the paths of the ordinary individuals. As we progress through these paths, then we will see the dharma nature eventually see the dharma nature as it is. That is the path of seeing, and then from then we will progress through the paths of seeing and meditation in order. And so this is the truth of the path. So among the Four Noble truths, that was the truth of the path. And so now I'd like to speak about the songs of Khenpo Gangashar, and to continue from where we left off yesterday. We have now come to the Song of Instructions at the request of Gangashar. So at that point, Khenpo Gangashar achieved realization. He was engaging in the conduct of a siddha, and many people developed great faith and pure vision, pure perception of him. And they asked for teachings from him. He gave pointing out instructions, and some recognized these. And then they would say, please teach me a song. And so in this way, he gave many different songs and instructions. Gangashar then was at first an ordinary person, but he developed a superior realization. He was given the pointing out. He realized the pointing out. He then asked for instructions and this song. And so this is the history of this song. And the song begins, and just first a comment here, this translation reverses the order of the first two lines. I'm going to put them back to the Tibetan order. Let inner awareness be free, not clinging to outer appearances, free from outer and inner, it is totally open. Not let inner awareness be free. From the very beginning of samsara, the nature of mind has been present with us. It has been together with us, but we have not looked for it, and because we haven't looked, we have not seen it. And so when we look and see it and experience it, then there is the awareness. And that awareness does not have to be contrived in any way. We don't have to make it up in any way. So let it be free. So mentally contriving it means that if we think, we don't need to think, oh, my mind should be empty. It is emptiness. It does. We don't need to think my mind should be clear. It is the essence of mind is clear. Instead of doing that, it should be, as we discussed in the prayer of the third karma Parangton Dorje the other day, not sullied by mental contrivances. So we shouldn't think to ourselves, oh, I need it to be like this. My experience should be like this. Instead, we should just look at our own awareness as it is. If it's clear, it's clear. If it's empty, it's empty. There's nothing, we just let go of it. So let inner awareness be free. Just let go of it. You don't need to contrive it or do anything. Just let it be as it naturally is. And so this is teaching the method of resting in equipoise. This is the same as is described in the Vajra lineage prayer, where it says non-distraction is the main practice of meditation as it's taught. As ones who rest simply not altering in just that fresh essence of thought. So we just need to rest simply without altering. We don't need to contrive anything mentally. We just need to rest in it as it is, and then so we just need to rest and relax in it. So let inner awareness be free. Then not clinging to outer appearances. So we don't need to cling to outer appearances either. Whatever happens, there are various appearances, external appearances that do occur, but they do not harm us in any way. And the reason is, it is said, like the instruction that Naropa gave that Tilopa gave to Naropa. Sun appearances do not bind you, fixation binds you. Cut through your fixation, Naropa. And so no matter what appears, it is not that harms us. Instead, we need to cut through a fixation and not do anything. Or cut through the fixation. And just let it be alone and not contrived. And so then when we are free from outer appearance, from outer and inner, so when we are free from the outer experiences, from the outer appearances and the inner awareness, then it's just simple and relaxed and uncontrived, and that is how we need to rest in equipoise. Instead, we just rest relaxed and easy. Emaho, it is wonderful. So this is teaching us the method of meditation. And then it continues. When there is distraction, here the translation should probably read, that is the aspect mind. Not it is an aspect of mind. Instead, it should read, when there is distraction, that is the aspect mind. So at times when we are distracted, then this is the aspect, the distracted mind is what we call the aspect of mind. In the teachings on Dzogchen, we have to make the distinction between mind and awareness. When we are resting within awareness, then there is no pleasure, no sorrow, no virtue, no unvirtue. But when we become distracted, then there is a question of these occurring. And so when we are distracted, and this is the aspect of mind, then at that point, at that time, don't disregard cause and effect. So when we are distracted and we are not resting in the nature of mind as it is, then we are subject to cause and effect, and we must be very careful to properly practice virtue and give up on virtue. Otherwise, we'll be overcome by confusion. So we must not disregard cause and effect. So what we actually need to do is what is described in the next line, by turning the wheel of undistracted awareness. So what we need is we need to not be overcome by our distractions, but instead turn the wheel of undistracted awareness, which means that we need to rest within equipoise, within our internal awareness. And so at the time when we are turning the wheel of undistracted awareness without any fixation, then may the cocoon of body and mind be liberated. So they're the external appearances of the body and the internal mind, and we must not have fixation upon these. So when they're whether they're external appearances of the body or whether there is there's the confused aspect of internal mind, we need to be liberated from the cocoon of these, and so we need to liberate ourselves from them by resting in awareness. And so here, the first stanza teaches the method for resting in equipoise on awareness. And the second discusses the second, when there is distraction, it is the aspect mind, teaches us what we need to take up and what we need to give up. So the first one teaches the method of resting in equipoise. The second teaches the faults that can occur and the methods for eliminating them. The Lord of inseparable space and awareness, moving from the space of whatever arises. So these two lines are teaching the great author of these lines, who, within a state of high realization of realizing the inseparability of the expanse or space and awareness, while unmoving from the Dharma expanse, realizing the inseparability of the expanse and awareness, he taught this song. And so this bursts forth from the expanse of the fearless sky. So he has no fear because of realizing the union of the inseparability of expanse and awareness. May you be inseparable from me. So this last line is saying, may you be not separate from me. And this is a line of aspiration. So at the request of Gangashar Den, Khenpo Gangashar wrote this.
Khenpo Nata Sekindela, Peki the German Gombo Hibare, Sumarela, Tenite Gombo Hibati, Kaji Petemba, Nevi or Sumarela. Tesun to Tela Candidate Resena, Desi Chuchon Gombo, Arte, Desi Jatati, Troll Rabote, Jixor Day, Masambo Rabote, Chuchon Day, on the Gombo. Adela de Gambo to la Colombo number Madaba, the Dad Dua, in John Abbas of the Chatterley, Sonne, and the Chujon de Chujon Gambo de Dro, the Tegi or La, the knitting Gombo Tig, the Niranga, the Dubne, the knitting dancing Cherro, Yamo Cherro, Las Mado, the Niranga Kaji Petemba Yonso, so Pachaja Tim, the Neruti, Montepati, Yungi Mare. Intera de Negriore, Teneronhi Roma Papa, non te llegaba de Hiki, che te ne candisono resena, Gombo de Chujon Drugiore, Chujon de Landi che non parlava di Drugiore Mato, Segni che nel Cetava Yendo Montrepa, da Drugiore Mare, de la Caresungiore Sena, Titango Montesena, Tene Khenchen Jamde, Jengaro. Juanze Gonzala, Poyin Margagibe, Chujon Sumana, Chansalo, Sunday, Tatege, Jubasepala, Ranking, Sunkin, Jopa, Atela de Topa Chepertilla, Yungi, Mato, Achujon Tedro, Tela Shara, Tala, Super Chepapol, Nitela, Chepapolne, Nitan Dorvatoni, Jon, Bay, Tedizia, Temba, Lengi, Temba, Nevi,
And the next song is Signs That Reveal Themselves, based on the prophecies of the fifth Karmapa. So the fifth Karmapa is the fifth Karmapa Deshin Shekpa. And he made a prophecy, and there are many different manners of interpreting this prophecy. The way the Khenpo Gangashar interpreted it, the prophecy is a sign, and it is a sign that must be self-liberated. So, among the prophecies of Lord Deshin Shekpa, that is, among the prophecies of the fifth Karmapa Deshin Shekpa, there is a prediction, and here I think we need to change the translation a little bit. There is a prediction that the Karma Kaju monasteries will practice, will practice as a Dharma protector upon a fierce being as a Dharma protector, and thus bring their own executioner upon themselves. So they will practice an intense being as a Dharma protector and bring their own executioner upon themselves. The protector, generally the Dharma protectors, is someone whom we think will protect us. And the fifth Karmapa is predicting that if we practice him properly, then the protector will come and harm the Kaju teachings. So how is that? Well, it's because of imagining that someone who is extremely wrathful, someone who is very fierce and powerful, thinking, oh, this must be the protector. So then we have, and then practicing upon that being as a protector with an impure motivation, thinking to yourself, I need to overcome my enemies, I need to protect my friends. And in this way, practicing upon that fierce being as a Dharma protector. And if we practice upon such a being as a protector, then this will increase our clinging to ourselves. It will increase our afflictions. And so in this way, we are practicing without any recognition of the essence of the Kaju teachings, without any recognition of the nature. And so this will bring our own executioner upon ourselves. And so this is practicing, when you're practicing upon a Dharma practitioner, then it's imagining that some god or a ghost is a Dharma protector, instead of realizing that it's the nature of our mind, that if we rest within that and recognize the nature of it as it is. So in general, there is the verse that is given that is often said, in the presence of the Dharma protectors, those who have promised to protect practitioners as their own children, I I prostrate to them as the Dharma protectors and guardians. And so what actually gives us protection is when we are able to rest within the nature of our mind as itself. That is what actually gives protection. It is by having the realization of the nature of the mind. And so, but instead, some people practice upon gods or ghosts as Dharma protectors, offer them meat and blood, and practice them practice in order to subdue their enemies and benefit their friends. But this does not help anything. In fact, it harms the teachings.
Karma karma pa gembe none gembo ki sunjo ki pato jin chone ki pa e photo ji on je ten la se ango te take part of dixo ro ni shedan ji ngajar ji da ten de je yo je samband ro je ko ne tela chepa pol tela ten ti ke dan dan ni jong re so na do yo re ta de do ne kare yung yo re se na pato jin chone ki pa e Portuguese non c'è tempo se doji giorni di domani c'è tempo di lavorare e la tanto niente che c'è se quindi sono tempo di lavorare a te care che ore se na usuni uno ongo usuni se de daranga ripatomo mai impate ranga sente nelu te tamuno se de la tayer chuji e da yerme vanda bote invece na uno ongo Choyena doji sartatama, choyena doji zimbade, doji de karesena, tapon hiraga nambataji invecena, tendete la gogi ore mato, Tungombo sekente, tanda suju seki, jekwa, hedanji, majaraji, trado tende la gogi mare, tende so tulla yonen, da ronto tongi gardenam seta, navati hibirundi namati tenda tendete intere.
So among the Karmakaju monasteries, when disciples of all practice lineages forsake the teachings descended from Vajra, the protector named Khenpo, or when there actually you could maybe should translate this a little differently. When among the Karmakaju monasteries there is a protector named Khenpo, the disciples of all practice lineages will lose the teachings descended from Vajra. And so what this means is that in the Karmakaju monasteries, when people think that there is a protector named Khenpo, who is fierce, arrogant, proud, and jealous being, they think that if we make offerings to them and supplicate him to overcome enemies and help our friends, well, what will happen at that point? We will lose the teachings descended from Vajradhara. So the teachings from Vajradhara are the oral instructions on Mahamudra. This will be lost. And so what will be necessary at that point? Then the protector named Khenpo will come, then there will come from central Tibet a powerful dark red body. And so from the central lands there will come the special awareness of the nature of our own mind. And this is the union of the Dharma expanse and awareness. And this is why it is dark red, the union of the Dharma expanse and awareness. And he is holding high a Vajra in his right hand. What the Vajra represents is the aspect of means and wisdom. So holding high the Vajra in mind. So keep these points in mind, fortunate ones, and send the sign that reveals itself. So this is the meaning of the prophecy by the fifth Karmapadeshan Shekpa. And so here the fearless man, so this section taught the instructions, and one thing I forgot to mention is, so the protector does not mean some arrogant, fierce, and powerful person. So that section describes the instructions given. And next at the history of the giving the instructions, the fearless man Gangashar, a crazy old monk, sings a few words of a crazy song in meditation. All the recipients of the offerings have gone crazy. May the conversation be pleasant through means and prajna. So here, the fearless man Gangashar is the crazy old monk. This means someone who realizes the nature of his mind. He has gone, it's like he is crazy in worldly terms. He's sung this crazy song in meditation, and all the recipients of the offerings have gone crazy. And so this means that the person who sang the song and also the people who listen to the song have, it's an aspiration, may they all realize the nature of their mind and become great siddhas. And then may the conversation be pleasant through means and prajna. So by having true means and prajna, may there be pleasant conversation. Or may the speech be pleasant. So when we are able to practice these fifth instructions, then may all go to the realm of great bliss. May the gates to the secret places be empty. When we are able to see the nature of our mind as it is, may the gates to the secret places be opened. May they always be assiduous in practice. May our practice go well. May the composite aggregates dissolve into space, and the undefiled aggregates be revealed. May drawings be drawn in the sky, that is, may we achieve the rainbow body. Ha, in the palace of Tutsitil, I wrote whatever came to mind. So that is enough for the teaching. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, if there is anyone who has any questions, please ask your questions. And I believe we have a microphone set up for questions here. Please come to the microphone and make a line at the microphone. You do, so people can hear you.
Okay, the question I'd like to ask is when we're talking about...
Could you please come to the microphone so everyone can hear you? I'm sorry. Turn it. Sorry. Just ask it, I'll repeat it.
Okay. The question I wanted to ask Rinpoche was about karma. And we heard yesterday that Vasubandhu said that the worlds arise from karma. And what I would like clarification on is where conditions are important and where karma is important. Because I've heard from teachers, particularly in 206 when Rinpoche was teaching, putting out the Dhammakaya, that certain situations is conditions that are responsible rather than karma, and I'm slightly confused.
To repeat the question for those who did not hear clearly, yesterday in speaking about karma, Rinpoche mentioned the line from Vasubandhu, from karma various worlds are born. And so the question is, where is it that conditions are more important, and where is it that when is it that the karma is more important? The reason for asking this question is that in 2006, when Rinpoche was teaching, pointing out the Dharmakaya, he mentioned that there are some situations where it is conditions that are more important, and some situations where it is karma that is more important. And I'm a little bit confused about this.
kasang lesung bekatsu delane legit nasoke she sungyure ta delane kapkala and chagi kenda kasang ungi le ni ro Kap kala ne chagi kendi ge che yure la ne kakala ne ta ngungi le ge che yure. Da de dini ge kazo ne kebra de kani na de kani che go dos de test some trouble dos.
Chadi jin sigi de yungu yore de ina ya tige le de tatanda ya ma ge tanda perna dipa mege waji se ne tene tige devo de nyum yendla ya de chadi jin na de lama ge yin la so ko dan jan ne tene shabara ya yang ta pa pol the top of Jordan draw a lot of young second. Chitang Tamang Chihu, the Lela in the joint between
So sometimes there are circumstances that occur, conditions that occur, but most of it comes from our prior karma. For example, if we have done a misdeed or a non-virtue in the past, then when the result of that occurs and we experience suffering, and sometimes what happens is that because of the circumstances, we encounter a guru, the spiritual friend, and we are able to, we learn that we can confess, we offer the confession properly, and we are able, and it is possible that we can purify that misdeed. So generally, most of what we experience comes about because of karma, and this is why it is said, from karma various worlds are born. So being born because of the power of karma is something that I think in my own experience, if I take myself as an example, I think, well, where was I born? I was born in Tibet, and within Tibet I was born in the area of Yushu. And if you look at a map of the world, it's incredibly difficult to find Yushu. But not only was I found in the area of Yushu, I was born in this really incredibly remote, tiny, far out of the way location called Ralongda. How is it that I could possibly have been born there? I've had this thought occur to me, and then I think it could only have been karma. That it's karma that drove me to take rebirth there.
I apologize when I ask this question in Tibetan because I want to be precise. I'm sure Khenpo will do a wonderful translation. Rinpoche tanda namzun na namdengi na joshope tseni lobjun jangye 주요지 chitang di nelo di gombe kapsula di summa tsibani nebala deje nangwa denso nugogire nena digire digmare
Rinpoche doesn't hear well over the loudspeaker. Dila ne chitang kontanda ne namzun nan den nigi kebra de lojon chegyure. Na sensan nanzun da nanzembe nigi kebra de lojon chegyure. Ta dit chitang kari songyure na pape nansha kapsula ya. Ane chitang ne nelo gomna ane songzingi namba ni kasa ne da ne nuprogudus somzingi namba ne yomares. Ta dedula ya ane nawa de nupdorgyuna mena kanina mebra chagina siana negure. Angwa. The Papa Nyamshakaso Nangche na Meda Ketra Medro. Nama de Nupro, de Papa Nyamsha de Nang Kasan Nangche Nang Medra Rive. Sensam Cup Medro.
Not so. Not to be
Oh, ngasogi gom gap to la. Depending on so zokshenda gom gap you na.
Tati Zochin gom gap to gala, Chaja Chimpo gom to gala, no de no bottom, no but chipper to gala, Kahik no make a thing in the gom to race we are. No what they hero no marinda over. No what the Hagarela. And there are based on no mention Hembache, Hembache Naruba, no way and the chipper
The question is, in the Yogacarya schools, there are the true aspectarian and the false aspectarian different schools which he is studying. And in general, when we are meditating upon the nature as it is, there are the aspects, the apprehending and the apprehended aspects, which are not present during our meditation. And so the question is, do appearances disappear during meditation, or are there appearances in our meditation? Rinpoche's response is, in general, when we are meditating on Mahamudra and Dzogchen, there are some people who say that appearances disappear, that appearances cease. But even though there are some who say that, they probably don't really disappear. They actually do occur. It is as Tilopa said to Naropa, appearances do not bind us, fixation binds us. And so even if there are appearances in our meditation, that does not really make any difference.
Dila ingrik sunjuki korda yana ingrik nisa mepe korda ne suna dig sunronang.
Yeah. Yen dan rikpa samta juba setu tela, yen setu tela tongcha kogi orwa, tene rikpa setu sarchar kogi orwa, salve mo te tene chitang ke chudan je tomba je ta tenge ore, perna hira jimbon rabo je yena zo me churwa me to ki me to lime, number hiba me so ne tongi ta tenge ore te, tongi te khandi je re se na tongi te che me ba, pembo rabo je re se na tongi te pembo mare sarwa yore. Sarva Senji Chata Yore, the Senti Muputra Yore, the Yomare, the Mo Tomba Yorela, Yen said to Tomba, Ripa said to Sarva, the La Satum Sonton Jupitana, Kogi Yore.
When we talk about the union or the inseparability of space and awareness, or you could also translate it as the inseparable expanse and awareness, then expanse refers to the aspect of emptiness, and awareness refers to the aspect of clarity. And so the nature of the clarity is that all phenomena are emptiness, as is taught. It's like it said in the Heart Sutra, there's no form, no feeling, no formation, no form, no feeling, no conception, no formations, no consciousness, and so forth. It's teaching emptiness. But is that emptiness nothing at all? Is it inanimate? It is not. There is clarity. There is the clear aspect of mind. Is that a thing? It is not. Its essence is empty. And so in this way, expanse, or here it is translated as space. Expanse means the empty aspect. Awareness means the clear aspect. So it should be understood as the union of clarity and emptiness.
Daughter Vajra, Aram so to go to daughter Vajra, Telegmare, the Kanga Hako, Higre, the Hinking the Kando Tatu, Mupola Yomare, Kaya Yomare, Yomare, Kado Yomare, Mepatella Chuchi, Yen, Seke Yorela, Yen take more the Candidores and Hakanga, Tene, Jeo Member Pemton Naimba, Tantin Ton, he. Salva Yorela, Salva Yabatel, Ripa Segre, Latini, the Ripa Santi Juba, Suriore. They send a coanda, but it's not Cogreva, Sentinel, a coanda, but it's
So when we look at the nature of their minds, well, what's it like? Is it a thing? It's not. And that not being a thing, that is its emptiness. Well, does that mean that it's nothing at all? Does it mean that we become like a rock? Does our body become like a rock? It doesn't. We're still able to know everything and understand and see everything. But is that knowing, is its essence, is it a thing? Does it have a color? Does it have a shape? Is there anything we can find about it? We can't. And that lack of it is the expanse, the Dharma expanse. So the essence of, what is the essence like? it is not a blankness, it is not nothing at all inanimate. And even though it is empty, it is still able to know everything. And so that aspect of being able to know everything is awareness. So in this way, it is the union of the expanse and awareness. And so that is the sort of understanding you should develop of the nature of mind.
I would like just to know which is more effective way to do karma, body, speech, or mind.
What is more?
Which is more effective to do karma, body or speech or mind?
Le rawo chebe kaso de da Rinpoche de karina de lu nga yi sum gange Rinpoche da re.
Rinpoche de sande ba. So le sande de ngo ga le ga de che ge yo re. Sande ma san na ngo ga le ga de che ge ma re. Dine teacher na ka sing ara ga la so samba yi je le ro samba ngo ga le. Das senge ngo ga le te yo kan de ni yo re na senge samba la de ni yo re la. Yo je teacher na samba ngo ga le. Lungo jomba da Khenpo zindra boje ke zo ma yimba sen ke ne ron de jo yimba chena samba lungo kale sungi yore la ti chena sen de karche ke.
With karma, what is most important is our mind, because it is due to our mind that we act with our bodies and speech. If we don't think of something with our minds, then we don't act with our body and speech. And so, like I was explaining yesterday, there's the volitional, mental karma, the karma of wanting to do something. And then there is the karma of our body and speech. And what is that? That's when we think of something, intend to do something with our mind, and engage in the activity. So that is the intended karma of body and speech. Because our body and speech, they're just material things, do not do anything on their own. It is because we have the motivation in our mind that we then engage in the intended karma of body and speech. So for that reason, it is the mental karma that is most important.
Appreciate.